I was thinking? It's time to go to bed. Head over heels. Hey everybody, welcome to Head Over Heels. Two quick things. Number one, I am from the United States of America, so if you're from a different culture, the things I say here, they may not apply equally to you. Number two, I am not a licensed professional. Is something wrong with me? Why don't they pay attention to me? Love me? Why are they being so stubborn? I thought we were in a relationship to love each other, to be together. Why do I feel so alone? Well, here on In My Head, we talk about mental health and how that relates to our intimate relationships. So let's look for some solutions right now. A moderate and fluctuating level of intimacy is normal in any healthy relationship. If you're coming to this video because your partner's been avoiding you, there's always the possibility that you might be expecting a little bit too much. I know I've done this before. Sometimes when we're going through a lot of stress or we're just having a difficult time in life, we may turn to our partner a little bit more and we may expect from them a little bit more than they're able to give in the relationship. This might especially be true if we're somebody who's gone through an attachment trauma in our childhood. I have a whole series on attachment trauma if you want to learn about that. We may have started to fall into a pattern of constantly seeking attention from our partner in a narcissistic way. And what I mean by that is that we're always feeling like we're not getting enough, and we feel like we're always having a stressful time and we're not being acknowledged. And so we're always grabbing at our partner, trying to get that love and attention and intimacy from them, but perhaps it's more than we would require in a healthy relationship. Hey, let's cuddle. Kiss me. Hold me while I cry. Tell me you love me. Hold my hand. Come to work with me. Let's get matching tattoos. Try on these handcuffs for me. Another thing to consider here, is it possible that we've been avoiding intimacy, maybe even accidentally? We could be sending off nonverbal cues to our partner that we're not really interested in intimacy. And so, because to them it looks like we're avoiding intimacy, they may start to avoid us because that's how they're reading the situation. And what you have then is the two of us in a relationship backing further and further and further away from each other, each thinking that's what the other person wants. I'm going to bed, see you in the morning. And this kind of leads me into the next thing, which is, have you communicated that you want intimacy from your partner? And something to think about here is, what does intimacy actually mean to you? Are you looking for more of a deep emotional connection with them? Are you looking for physical touch? Are you looking for a sharing of the way that you live your lives together? Maybe some shared dreams? It's important to know what it is exactly that you're looking for before you ask your partner for it. And that may take some time. You may have to sit with yourself and sit with your thoughts and your feelings and really get an understanding of who you are and what it is you want before you approach them. Honey, do you think we can talk for a minute? I've been feeling like I really want some more physical touch from you. If we find that we have a hard time doing this, we have a hard time expressing the things that we want, we may want to consider going in to see a therapist. We may feel issues of having low self-esteem, or it could even be some of those narcissistic things that I brought up earlier, where we feel like we can't be vulnerable around somebody that we love because we're afraid that they're going to hurt us. When we feel like we can't be vulnerable around somebody, something that typically happens is we feel like we have to pit ourselves against them, and there's this constant friction of always needing to be above them or a little bit better than them so that they can't hurt us. But when we put ourselves in that position, we can't meet down in the lower level of being vulnerable and have that intimacy that we're craving. So if these are things that you seem to have trouble with and they're not something that you've been able to resolve on your own, you may want to go in to see a therapist. Hi, thanks for seeing me. I'm kind of having trouble even talking about this. I'm having a hard time being intimate with my partner. Something else to think about here is, if they are avoiding intimacy with you, could there be a reason why? Have you asked them why? It may have nothing to do with you. They may be stressed out about something themselves. And so opening up that invitation for communication could actually be a way of becoming intimate right there. I didn't realize that losing that game meant so much to you. I don't see you as a loser. Is there something that I can do to help you feel better? If you're not getting your needs met and talking it out doesn't really seem to be working that well, it may be time to consider going in to see a couples therapist. Someone with an outside perspective who's been trained may be able to see more clearly the dynamic that's going on between the two of you, and they'll help you be able to sort it out so that you can get more intimate together. Well, we're here because we haven't really been having sex. It's really weird to talk about, to be honest. Now, if you've gone around many times with this before and nothing seems to be changing and you're just unhappy, this could be a time to consider taking a break from the relationship. Doesn't mean you have to end the relationship. Of course, that's also an option. But taking a break will give you a chance to reevaluate the things that you want. If you decide that taking a break is something that you want to try, this needs to be communicated with your partner very explicitly, and you need to choose rules for what is allowed and what is not allowed during that break. Do not go off and seek intimacy from somebody else and cheat on your partner without having this discussion. That is the quickest way to make sure that your partner will continue to avoid being intimate with you. But if this is something that has already happened, a relationship can recover from this, but you will need to go in and see a couples therapist because it is very difficult to work through something like that. I was thinking that we could spend a little bit less time together and try to figure out what each of us wants. Maybe come back in a couple of months and see how we feel. Not receiving intimacy can be one of the worst feelings. You feel isolated, you may feel even ashamed, embarrassed. It's not a good thing. All that you really want is to be acknowledged and to feel like you're in a loving and healthy relationship, and you deserve that. I hope that by thinking about what it is that you want and communicating your needs to your partner, the two of you are able to work through this. Now, I mentioned self-esteem a couple of times in this video. If you have trouble with self-esteem yourself, I have some free worksheets over on my Patreon page. Patreon is a place where you can support people like me in making things like I did here with this video. I'm a patron myself of other people, and thank you to all the patrons who are helping me to humanize mental health. If you like learning about mental health and relationships, head over to youtube.com/RyanLiberty and hit subscribe. And now I really do want to know if you're somebody who's been through this before in the past and you feel comfortable talking about it, what did you do to get through it? How did you resolve it? I personally have been in a relationship where things did not go well, where we were not communicating. I was actually cheated on, and I think that that relationship would have went much, much better had we had the proper ways of expressing ourselves and being able to communicate so that there wouldn't be so much avoidance. So I'd love to hear from you. What has your experience been? Thank you everybody for joining me here on Head Over Heels. Ah.